Evening, Collective. I've started to like more and more being, less organized or more organized? Because everything's shuffling itself into place. But it looks like I don't do any planning. And I guess that's what trying to keep everything up here is, while everything down here is all shifting in motion. This crazy thing happened. As I'm leaving David's place earlier today, like I've said this before, how innocent things just automatically recognize me. I don't know. We're having a cigarette on the porch right as I'm getting ready to leave, and he says, "Oh, there's a kitten. Nobody's able to pet her." I look over behind on the other side of these bushes, and there's this little tabby female cat. And as soon as I look at her, she goes. I say, "Hey, what's up?" And I go and put my cigarette butt. I walk to the porch and I put my cigarette butt in the trash. And then I walk back and I'm like, "You see that?" She just like said, "What's up?" And I sit down on the edge of this cement, and there's just the empty bushes. I mean, but you couldn't walk through them, but they're hollow as far as you could see right through them in front of his house. And the cat's on the other side of the bushes, just on the sidewalk. And he's like, yeah. And like I said, "You see that?" She just said, like, "What's up?" And he's like, "Yeah, nobody's been able to pet her. Like, whenever we're over here, she won't come near us or whatever." And I sit down on the edge of the porch. I'm like, "Hey, how's it going? Do you remember me?" And she goes, "Mrr," and she fucking just hops right through the bushes, runs right over to me, and I don't try to pet her. I just have my hands in my lap, and she runs up and just walks, rubs around my body, walks around this side, and stands there and looks over at David, and then rubs back around this side, and then climbs up in the bush, and then she's all like climbing around the bush, like showing off for me. And I'm like, "Did you see that? That's fucking crazy." But you'd have to be there to see it. Same thing happened outside my sister's house. I stepped out. See, if it wasn't for having to go have a cigarette, then I'd be missing out on all these different events. But then if I didn't have an excuse as the cigarette, then how would reality break itself up? Like just all of a sudden I stand up and they're like, "Where are you going?" "I'm just going outside." "Okay, that's weird. So something told me to do it, But if I say I'm going out for a cigarette, okay. And then I have these other experiences. So then that's kind of weird. But I was kneeling. I just walked outside, and then this female cat came running up that I'd seen before. That has like a perfect Monroe right here, and I'm like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" to the cat. And then all of a sudden I hear, and I look over, and there's this other cat, and they're just by the tree, and they both come over, and then Glenn comes out of the house and is all looking at me or whatever, and I said, "Look, I'm the cat whisperer," and I sit down on the grass, and the the first one just won't quite come up to me, like comes up and then rolls on the grass or whatever. But then if I even act like I'm gonna lean at it, then she's like, "Oh, I don't know if I want you to." And then the other one was all aggressive. Just came over and just like ran into me or whatever. I didn't try to pet it, and just like bossed me around. It was like, "This is my property." And then as soon as I tried to pet it, it was like, "Oh no, you're not allowed to pet me. I'm only allowed to pet you." Okay. So, for this evening meditation or whatever, or gather, before I head off to work and such, I grabbed, we got the Tao of Physics. I got all kinds of crazy books. And we've opened up to a page that starts with it saying, "Primeval Fireball, period." But the passage that I'm drawn to says, "There we reach the great barrier of thought because we begin to struggle with the concepts of time and space. before they existed in terms of our everyday experience. I feel as though I've suddenly driven into a great fog barrier where the familiar world has disappeared. Yeah, but every time that happens to me, it just gets clearer and clearer and clearer. How fast can we drive and get out of here so we can get somewhere we want to be? Shit. Man, this must be what the devil would be saying. This is from a book from, I find that there's two of these books I have. It's from Vampire the Masquerade, but I never got it for that. Like, something just drew me to this book when I was a teenager, and I was like, oh, it's got like an alternate history of like Genesis in it. And then only like 15 years later, somebody's like, oh, that's a Vampire the Masquerade book. I'm like, what the hell is Vampire the Masquerade? Oh, it's a role-playing game. Oh, all right. Can I get in on it? So this must be what evil says. And he exiled me to wander in darkness, the land of Nod. I flew into the darkness. I saw no source of light, and I was afraid and alone. Shit, I can't even imagine that concept. The more alone I am, the more presence there. It's not like I hear any voices or anything like that. Not like the way people describe. It's just like there's more suchness around. Like there's eyes in everything. And so the more quiet I am, even like you close your eyes, and then as soon as you're trying to meditate, then all of a sudden you're like, oh, maybe like I'm hearing the gurgling in my stomach, or oh, I got an itch on my arm. Oh, my eye's bothering me. Man, my nose is a little stuffy. And all of a sudden you're like bouncing around the tin can inside your own container. And I have that experience all the time, and so I guess that's the only way that I have so many minds without having one of my own, I guess. So the next one we have for tonight, at 7:51, we got the Complete Kama Sutra. Man, I've never tried this one out. There's 5 practices: kisses, scratches, bites, blows, and sighs. I thought sighs doesn't matter. Oh no, it's the breathing kind. Okay. Should not be violence, it says. So that's not sexy. That shows a lack of strength and proper balance to love oneself and love another. If you have to force yourself upon yourself, like cutting yourself or until it hurts, or you do that to somebody else and that's pleasure, then it shows the disconnect within, and how that's why the true rule is you're only allowed to harm yourself, not each other, rather than to go find somebody that has the same fetish and then you do it to each other. Because that just like that even blurs the line so much more, and then it, rather than to take accountability upon oneself. But it says, to start the page, passion knows no rules, nor place, nor time. Vatsyayana declares. I think that's how you say that. People bursting with the ardor, know no rules, but less active persons are sometimes perplexed. During the preliminaries, they should not be overindulged in, and once confidence has been established, they should be used prudently. Even when excitation is evident, great care should be taken especially if they are combined. If they are combined, the better to inflame desire. Very interesting. See, instead of it's like the concept of pulling back. But you got to rush in too. So there's not really any running. It's like going with the contours. There's no up or down, because if it's up or down, well, then you just bend to the will together as one thing without either taking control. Yeah, to begin with, desire's weak. It has to be built up. Oh, and this is the third or fourth one I picked. Let's see what we turn to. Oh, it's just a page. It says the flowers of the underworld with a peacock. An interesting symbol here. Oh, well, that answers that question. I was like, so what? I wonder what that symbol is. It is the symbol for copper in alchemy, I suppose, of some sort. Even though I've never seen that symbol before now, actually, that I can think of. It's been a source of protection against lightning. In Egypt, the mummies had a copper disc engraved with magic signs and symbols placed beneath their head. So that when you're sleeping, then you're casting. That's the ingenious idea. See, black mirroring your cat. If anybody who's casting spells, whether it doesn't matter how you want to look at magic, okay? It comes down to the mind is against the mind, against the mind. And reality is here for all of us, and it's something separate, but it's not something separate. It's somehow hardly even removed. So that makes good sense that you'd cast a spell upon yourself by having the disc engraved with what you wanted to imbue upon yourself, and then putting that behind your head when you're sleeping. And so your own subconscious is lighting your own subconscious through the physical and the mental when you go to sleep to imbue yourself with that property. Well, that's what I got for right now. So see you later, maybe.